All this Polo Cup action is proudly brought to you by Volkswagen Motorsport, Dunlop Tires, and Ferodo, #1 in brakes. A big welcome to Zwartkops in round 2 of the Volkswagen Polo Cup. We're here at the home of the Extreme Festival and round 2 of this championship of 25 years in the making. Unbelievable to think that only a couple of weeks ago we were down in the Mother City, and the Mother City's very own Yuri Swart took a full haul of championship points. He was absolutely perfect, barring not getting the lucky draw. There was only thing that didn't go his way. So he comes into this round fired up, and he's certainly going to be a man to watch out for. But of course, there's some Zwartkops locals and specialists that are going to be here to try and spoil his day with 3 races here today. Yesterday we saw qualifying. Let's go and find out what happened there and in the Super Bowl. Qualifying happening on the Friday afternoon just to get everything being sorted out for Saturday. Incredibly perfect conditions. It's absolutely ideal to be out on the circuit at the moment with cool conditions, but a little bit of sun keeping the heat in the tarmac. That means that the front end for the top 6 is going to be a fight of note, and it was a big fight. Absolutely brilliant stuff to see the master and the protege going at it. Leighton Free and Arnold Neveling chopping and changing at the top end, with Arnie eventually coming out on top. Clinton Mercedes was just behind them looking very good, but there was a big battle as well expected between him and JP van der Walt. JP van der Walt, his stablemate, was right up there as well. Coming in for a couple of checks before they get out into the Super Pole, JP would lead things out. And the master was looking to get to the front of the top 6, making it out there for Super Pole. Nati and Simanga for the very first time in Super Pole for Squadra Corsa. And he'd be looking to try and take on Clinton Mercedes and Leighton Free, as well as Arnie Neveling. But Arnie Neveling was the man to beat and got to the front end of the Super Pole. As Leighton Free got a last-ditch effort to see if he could outgun his fellow stablemate from the RKT karting team. Yuri Swart was looking good, trying to get back up there, but just missed out in the very closing stages. It was Arnie Neveling who got onto Super Pole for the very first time, and he was going to be ecstatic with the 2,500 Rand that he gets from Dunlop Tires.
I still can't believe it, to be honest with you. To take my first Super Pole is just fantastic. It feels unbelievable. Leighton did such a mega lap in the first part of qualifying. I just thought it's not possible to get there at all. And just very happy for the team. All the effort has really paid off.
Thanks, Ari. Yes, on pole position there after the Super Pole. Great effort from him. Strade Motorsport is certainly becoming a big factor at the front end of Polo Cup. But let's go and have a look at the rest of the grid and see how they line up for race number 1. So we saw the top 6 there with Arnie Neveling, Leighton Free, Mercedes, Swart, Van der Walt and Nsimanga. It's Charles Visser and Tate Bishop right behind them, the 2 young carters that have stepped up and are looking very dangerous. Lonica Martin's in the top 10 in 9th, ahead of Jaden Els, Keegan Campos, a little bit further down than what he'd like to be. Faran Basha and Hammond. Then you've got Fanamava Hill. And looking at the back, you've got Bassoon looking very good ahead of Dean Venter and Buxy Kamani with a bit of issues. Let's see if Arnie now can put this all together and hopefully take his first victory in Polo Cup. Clinton Mercedes wants to try and stay in the hunt for the front and for the championship, and he's definitely fired up after coming from a great weekend in Cape Town. On board with Arnie now for the start. Let's see if he gets it all right and hooked up. Lights go out, and there we go, down towards turn 1. And we look straight across at Leighton Free, realizing that Leighton is coming along for the ride, and he tries to squeeze him out. You see in the background a little bit of squeezing as well. As they come through the back in the field, it was Darby van der Merwe trying to make his way up to the front end as quickly as possible, and out of shape in the back there. Buxy Kamani gets completely out of shape, and looks like he's looped it out. Yes, he has. He's looped it out and gone into the sidewall there at the exit point of turn 1. The Volkswagen corner having a huge incident right from the word go. You can see he comes up on the back end of Chivy, gives Chivy a little tap, puts the wheel onto the grass, and that's it. The back end just steps out. Those Dunlops are not hot just yet. And unfortunately, Buxy, and he shatters that big left-hand windscreen as well. The window there just getting completely wrecked as he went down and crashed into the wall. He'll get back on track though, but he's a long way down from his teammate who's already applying pressure onto the front end there, looking for a way through on Mercedes. Just behind that, JP van der Walt fighting with Tate Bishop. Then you can see a big push there from Keegan Campos to try and get through on Charles Visser. Absolutely brilliant start here from the top 2. They've pulled a little bit of a margin over the third place car there, Alpine Autohaus car of Yuri Swart. And Tate Bishop makes a mistake. Up at the top, Bishop runs wide and onto the dirty stuff. That means he's going to slot in just behind Hammond, who's fighting hard there with Lonica Martins. Lonica Martins just getting ahead there of Tate Bishop as he returns the angry Jeep machine onto the circuit. Natim Simanga trying to close down here on the back end of Besaidnote, losing a little bit of ground there to JP van der Walt. The second pack led out by Campos at this point in time. He's got Jaden Else all over the back of him in the King Price Extreme car. Then it's Hammond, followed by Martins, and what a pack of cars there for that second pack. And they're starting to stream out, trying to find a way through. Look at Cara Hill, looking to go on the attack as she comes up onto the back end of Dean Venter. Venter's on the inside of Darby van der Merwe. Van der Merwe's trying to get through on his teammate there, Charles Visser. Five-way battle for about 13th, 14th and 15th place on the circuit. Tate Bishop just ahead of that little pack. He managed just to slot in the middle of the second pack of cars. Very lucky to not go right to the back of the field with the cars being so evenly matched. In qualifying, remember, they were about 1.9 seconds over the entire field. So it just shows you how tight it is. And speaking of tight, whoa, here we go. Lonica Martin's having a big look there to try and get through on Hammond. Hammond shuts the door though. It'll make it very difficult for Lonica to try and find a way through here on the Trinity car. To the top of the hill they go. We go on board with Tate Bishop, but further back here in the angry Jeep and skate car, heading to the top of the hill now and late on the brakes, trying to close things down there on the Stradale car just in front. And Lonica Martins is having a fantastic run here. One of the best we've seen out of her since she jumped into a Polo. Remember, she comes from V8 racing and from oval track racing, so super to have her in a front wheel drive car for the first time. Her teammate getting away at the front though, disappearing at this point in time ahead of Leighton Free. Looks like Nsamanga's got a little bit of problems. He's lost the ground there to Clinton Besaidnote and dropped into the clutches of Besaidnote's teammate. As Besaidnote goes on the attack with Yuri Swart, it looks like JP van der Walt is going to go on the attack there with the squadra car of Natim Nsamanga and bringing Campos along for the ride. The rest of them stream through there. There is Tate Bishop, tucked in still behind the very, very hard-charging Lonica Martins. And just behind Martins, you've got Faran Basha. Remember Faran Basha here for the very first time at Zwartkops in anger in a full season of Polos, but part of the Stradale Motorsport team for this year as well. We're on board now with Keegan Campos. Campos is trying to bridge that gap. It's just up the road, and you can see he doesn't want to use too many push to passes because when he gets there, he needs those to get the passes done. As he comes up onto that back straightaway now, closing the gap down onto the back end and looking very good to get onto the back end, and he has. He's got right there with JP van der Walt. JP van der Walt now goes on the attack onto Nsamanga, realizing that Campos is there, has a look, and a little bit off. Looks like there might have been somebody going off at turn 4. A little bit of dust in the background there. We'll keep it up. It was. There you go. It was Martins. Lonica Martins getting it all wrong. A little bit of pressure, maybe too much pressure, as she ran off in turn 4. Let's have a look and see. Here's from Tate Bishop's point of view. Oh, okay, I beg your pardon. Tate helped her out a little bit there. Little tap from the back there from Tate Bishop, and Lonica got sent into the dirty stuff at the end of turn 4. Big move here from Leighton. Oh, this is for the lead. Leighton Fourie side by side with Arnie Neveling. Neveling and Fourie side by side. This, of course, is the master taking on his young protege from the karting world, and now side by side in equally matched Polos. The Polo GTIs wing mirror to wing mirror for the 4th time as they come out of the final corner and across the line. Who's going to have what it takes on the brakes? Going down into turn 1. The better line is the outside line, of course, and that's exactly what Leighton Fourie is looking to do, to cut back on the inside and then hold that outside line, which he's done. Can he hang on to it for the second turn? He can. He's going to take the lead here for the very first time. And Leighton Fourie, oh, look at that, on board with Arnie. He's a little bit upset about that because he didn't want to give that up with such ease, but it was such a perfect move there, put on by Leighton Fourie. And probably he showed him how to do that. So he's going to be kicking himself for showing him all the tricks of the trade. Maybe not all of them, though. I think Arnie might have a couple left. Leighton Fourie, though, leads out. There is confirmation of the Universal and Team Red racing car at the front end, ahead of the Stradale and Into Africa machine of Arnie Neveling. There's a big gap down to 3rd place, though, but 3rd place at the moment is once again in the hands of Clinton Besaidnote, who's got through eventually and stuck it ahead of Yuri Swart. The checkered flag is out, and it's going to be a fantastic victory there for Leighton Fourie, who takes his first victory at Zwartkops this year, ahead of Arnie Neveling and Clinton Besaidnote. Yuri Swart coming just behind Besaidnote there for the 4th spot. And here comes the battle just behind that as Charles Visser dives on the inside, trying to find a way through and gets through on Tate Bishop. And it looks like his teammate Darby van der Merwe is going to run the outside as well. He does. Wow, van der Merwe and Visser beating Tate Bishop to the line, mugging him at the end to take a victory there between themselves in that little battle. Faran Basha was just ahead of them there in 10th place, but there's confirmation of the top 10. It's Fourie and Neveling ahead of Besaidnote and Swart. Nsamanga hung on for 5th place to beat out Campos, and JP van der Walt catches up there with Jaden Else. But that was like watching karting all over again. It was literally the master that showed you the way and was showing you the way around, then you showed him how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Arnold since my early days in karting. So to fight with the guy that taught me all my tricks and everything and use them against him, it was incredible. I enjoyed every part of it.
He didn't teach you all the tricks because you showed him a couple yourself.
Oh yeah, no, he taught me the tricks in karting, but I have a few tricks on this Polo car which I used against him, and I just got the edge on him, and it was such a cool battle.
So Nati, take us through that top 6 first of all start, and then the pressure was on almost the entire race.
No, it was, I had to make sure that I had to get a good start so I didn't lose positions, and then thankfully on the first lap, someone made a mistake and I took advantage, and then he was on me the whole race, but I had to keep my calm, cool, and make sure I was defending where I had to and blocking where I had to, and just to keep my position.
I did say race 1 was going to be incredible, and that's exactly what we got. The Master and the Protege going at it for almost 6 corners, and battles right through the field with a couple of cars spinning off in the Kiddie Litter 2. Can you imagine what's going to happen in race number 2? Join us after the break for all that action. Welcome back to Zwartkops. It's now time for race 2. Race 2's grid is set by how they finished in race number 1. So that incredible dice we just seen now in race number 1 is certainly going to be more of the same as we get out into the black stuff here at Zwartkops for race 2 of the Polo Cup. Volkswagen Motorsport and Squadra Corsa will be looking for improvements from Buxy Kamani after that off in race number 1, but he's certainly impressed with what happened at the front end with Natim Samanga. JP Revolt was in a big fight there with those two, and looking for another one now as we go on board with Yuri Swart here for race 2 start. Ahead of him is Campos, and he's going to try and get through on Campos as quickly as he can. JP van der Walt is alongside him as well as they head down towards turn number 1 for the first time through Volkswagen corner, and he just slots in behind JP. JP's just behind Campos, and you can see the fight already starting at the front end there between Arnie Neveling and Leighton Fourie. Looks like it's going to be Arnie Neveling on the inside line. He's going to try and force Leighton Fourie wide. Campos is going to try and squeeze Fourie out as they come through there 2x2. A lot of cars 2x2. Buxy Kamani has definitely improved. Look at that, right alongside Natim Samanga, and right on their tail, Davy van der Merwe, Charles Visser and Jaden Els as they come flying through onto the back straight now for the very first time. Still Arnie Neveling on the inside line for turn 4. Leighton Fourie is eventually going to have to give that up, or he's going to do the same thing he did in race number 1, where they just went wing mirror to wing mirror for 4 or 5 corners. Campos wants a bit of the action as well, and he's in the mix. He's come up alongside Leighton Fourie. He's right into the braking point and may move up into second place there. Or is Fourie going to try and drive around? He's outside. Give him a little bit of room to play with on that inside line. Yes, he hangs on, but he eventually just has to slot in behind Keegan Campos as he gets forced out there, and almost gets forced out again. Oh, he does. Look at that. JP van der Walt, his stablemate from Universal Motorsport, is just diving on his inside, trying to find a way through, but he just keeps him at bay. Oh, he forces JP onto the dirt a little bit, and here comes a hard charge from Yuri Swart to capitalize on that little mistake from JP van der Walt. On the inside, the Alpine Autohaus car just getting up, and he gets tasty. In the background, Buxy's gone a bit wide again, running off the circuit. Farin Basha's dad watching him from the sideline there, saying, "Come on, my boy, you can get up there." Remember, Farin Basha today is driving, and he's also fasting because it's Ramadan, so he's going to have a bit of a tough time, a much more tough time than most of those guys, because he's not allowed to eat and drink at all during the day. And that's going to be very difficult when you're in a battle like these. As they come through turn 2, look at that. Absolutely brilliant stuff. There you can see Cara Hill also starting to get a little bit of maneuver on there. Chevy Bassoon stuck at the back end of the field trying to find a way through there on Dean Fenter. Let's have a look at this one more time from Buxy Kamani's point of view. As he comes down onto the braking point, he's late on the brakes, but he just runs, too hot into turn 8. Runs off the circuit all by himself, not helped out by anybody other than himself, and he comes on just behind Tate Bishop and Lonica Martins, who are going at it once again. A bit of wide driving there from Clinton Mercedes to try and find a way through too. Back to the battle here between Cara Hill, the Calex car they're taking on Chevy Bassoon, the Streaming Bean and Dunlop car. At the front end, Arnie Neveling ahead of Keegan Campos. Campos still ahead of Fourie. Here comes a move. What a move though. Late on the brakes. I think maybe too late. Yeah, I thought so. Davy van der Merwe way too late on the brakes there into GNH Transport corner and tags the back end of Jaden Els. The rest of the field moving left, right and centre, trying to avoid the tapped and spinning car there of Jaden Els. We're very lucky to not get tagged by anybody else in that little fracas as they went out of turn 8. Back to the front again. First 3 got away. 4th place starting to pull a little bit of a gap now on Mercedes. So Yuri Swart just trying to stay ahead there. Clinton Mercedes trying to close him down. Here we go on board with Farin Basha as he comes under braking right behind his teammate. You can see there he tries to avoid. Pick a line you can drive through. He gets a little tag. I think Lonica tried to go on the inside line and the two of them just had a small touch. No problem there. And unfortunately, no issues at all. And everybody's just walked away or drove away from this one. Could have been a lot worse. You can see Tate Bishop went right. Lonica and Farin Basha went on the left-hand side. Here we go. It's Hammond versus Buxy. Buxy Kamani now under a little bit of pressure there and looking for a way through. Hammond is going to try and squeeze him into turn 7. If you little tag through there, could end up in tears. Jaden Els is back into the front and into the fray as well. You can see looking for a way through on the 2 black cars just ahead of him. And behind that, Chevy Bassoon is looking for a chance to capitalize on any mistakes out of any of these drivers. Cara Hill's looking to do the same thing. Dean Fenter just off the pace slightly there in the Gerald Wright Motorsport machine. Tate Bishop now building a little bit of a margin, getting away ever so slightly, trying to close back down on Charles Visser just up the road from them. Charles Visser with those yellow wing mirrors, very easy to pick up on that man.
And here we go. Jaden Als has got through on one of the black cars, but the Squadra Corsa car is keeping him at bay for now. And Kamani is going to make him work hard for it. Nathan Hammond with his own pressure coming from Cara Hill. Arnie Neveling now starting to open up a little bit of a margin. Can he keep it all together to stay ahead of Keegan Campos? Oh, Campos has made a mistake. Campos has run out of brakes and probably gone a little bit too hot up into turn 5, and that's going to give Leighton Free a gift of second place. Whereas Campos going to come back on track just behind JP van der Walt, so he goes down to about 5th place. Very lucky to survive that one. Just under braking, you can see, yeah, there you go, just locking up, just too hot. Not going to make it, turns into the kiddie litter, and eventually back onto the circuit, as we saw, just behind JP van der Walt. Very lucky not to lose any more ground than that or have any more damage to the car. But that's how it all goes when you get it a little bit locked up. Here we go. This is from Leighton Free's point of view. Watch for the lock up. There you go. Locking those brakes up. The Ferrota's working double time into turn 5. And unfortunately, that dropped him down into 5th place. Back to this battle between Kamani. Kamani controlling things at the moment. Jaden Als has not found a way through. Neither has Hammond. You can see a little change up there from Cara Hill's point of view. She's dropped down behind Shivi Bassoon. But here we go, into the closing stages. Arnie Neveling just going to take it to the finish line and going to share the honours there. Oof, it's going to be a tough day in the saddle for those two. Leighton Free has had a fantastic battle. He just couldn't find a way through on Keegan Campos, which has given Arnie that little bit of a margin that he needed to stay ahead of his good friend behind him. And of course, arch rival now in the two teams. Universal Motorsport are going to have to settle for second place as Into Africa and Stradale Motorsport are going to take the victory. Arnie Neveling, what a drive here from this man. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And now they go 1 for 1 after the first 2 races. Neveling coming to the line, and it's going to be the checkered flag there for the second time today. Leighton Free will get second place right on his tail. A bit further back there, Clinton Besaidno eventually squeezing out Yuri Swart for the 3rd spot. Yuri Swart down in 4th, losing championship points after his perfect haul in Cape Town. Definitely going to be looking to turn things around here in the 3rd and final heat of the day. Down into the breakers though, we still got a little bit of action here. And you can see Tate Bishop has got through there on Buxy Kamani eventually and hung on, but Jaden Als wasn't able to do that. And coming to the line, it looks like Jaden Als and Kamani are going to finish up in 13th and 14th place respectively. Top 10 confirmation of those top 10. Neveling from Fourie and Besaidnout with Swart in 4th, JP van der Walt in 5th. Campos eventually down in 6th place, lucky to survive ahead of Natim Samanga, Nathan Hammond, Lonica Martins and Charles Fasson. Let's catch up now with Arnie Neveling, your race 2 winner.
All right, yes, so very happy to finally get my first win. It feels like it's, I think it's about almost 3 seasons in the making now. And but yes, hard work pays off. Congrats to Stradale Into Africa. The team did a fantastic job. Thanks for giving me such a good car. And yeah, we're definitely going to celebrate this one tonight, that's for sure.
We mentioned the fact that Yuri Swart coming into this round was championship leader, but he's been spinning spanners all day to try and find the pace that's required to beat either Universal Motorsport or Stradale Motorsport. There is a big fight at the front end expected in race number 3, and after race 2 and all the carnage, can Yuri redeem himself and possibly still stay in the hunt at the front of this championship? Let's find out after the break. Slightly different way of doing things this time, and a big welcome back to Zwartkops. It's race 3 now of the Polo Cup. And this is the way we do things this year. It's going to be completely different to what you've seen in Polo Cup over the last 25 years. And we're expecting another huge fight at the front end. And I think that's exactly what's expected now for race number 3.
Coming to the line and lining up for the 3rd and final heat. 3 heats of racing here at Zwartkops, a different format for this season, as you're going to see it almost every single round. Volkswagen Motorsport trying different things here for the Polo Cup's 25th anniversary. Yuri Swart with a great start there, much better than what we've seen from him all day long, and slots up into 3rd place right on for his tail. But once again, it's Arnie Neveling who gets the whole shot down into Volkswagen corner, and what an awesome aerial shot there as we went into Volkswagen corner. We go from aerial on board with Natim Samanga side by side with Lonica Martins as they come out of turn 3 onto the back straight for the first time. He's going to try and just force Martins into a little bit of an outbraking maneuver. He's on the inside. Martins going to keep him very honest though. Lonica is loving life in this Polo. There's no doubt about it. She's getting better and better every single time she gets behind the wheel. In the background, you can see Farhan Basha fighting hard there. I think it was with JP van der Walt and possibly with Damien Hammond as they come up on the braking point for turn 5. They come past the AMG Driving Academy, and Martins is out of shape. Lonica Martins getting a little bit hot into turn 5. JP van der Walt and Jaden Als trying to capitalize on that little mistake. I think JP, just too far back there. Lonica has kept that car on track. How, we have no idea, but great bit of driving here. Let's have a look at this from another aerial shot here as we come into G&H Transport corner. All 19 cars, flat out, everything that they can do, coming through turn 8, G&H Transport corner, and now across the line, Davy van der Merwe diving on the inside of Keegan Campos. Campos dropping by the wayside there into the clutches of both Visser and Van der Merwe. He's going to have a fight on his hands there because he's got Hammond on his tail, and there comes Farin Basha. Just behind that, you can see a little bit of maneuver coming through there as well from Shivi Bassoon. Once again, back on board here with Buxy Kamani. Oh, Fenter giving Shivi Bassoon a little tap there. The Sound Lab car getting a little tap from behind there from the Gerald Wright machine. And there you can see, oh, he's missed a gear. Looks like he might have missed a gear there. That's given an opportunity to Buxy and Cara Hill to get through. So that little tap might have just caught him out, went into the wrong gear or just missed the gear completely, and it's dropped him down into the back of the pack there, fighting hard now with Tate Bishop. Was out of shape, Dean Fenter gets out of shape there properly. Fenter's going to just have a little bit of retribution there. And, in sympathy, looks like Bassoon's gone off with him. The two protagonists from that previous incident, both ending up on the kitty litter and in the dirty stuff, allowing the rest of that field to continue. 3x3 out of turn 5, that usually ends up in tears. Now we're going to go 2x2 into turn 6. Brilliant stuff here from Polo Cup. JP Van der Walt alongside Keegan Campos. Darby Van der Merwe side by side with Charles Visser. Two Team Red Racing boys going at it, and just behind that you can see here comes Farin Basha and Lonica Martins as they come under braking for turn 8. Oh, late braking from Campos again, but even later braking from JP. JP runs off the circuit. He was so hot into turn 8. Can't go there too that hot. You're definitely going to have to pay the price, and that's exactly what's happened there for the Platinum Wheels and iProtein car coming out of Universal Motorsports. JP Van der Walt dropping right to the back, and now into the clutches of Buxy Kamani. Campos fending off the attentions there from Charles Visser, Darby Van der Merwe. Looks like Farin Basha into the mix as well. Basha, yeah, he's definitely in there now. Looking for a way through there on Darby Van der Merwe, and Hammond right on their tail. Brilliant stuff here from the Polo Cups, as always. The front end is Leighton Fourie and Arnie Nevlin going at it. They're going to try and fight things out. Once again, at this point in time, it's Fourie who's behind Arnie Nevlin. But look at this battle in this mid-pack. Brilliant stuff. Farin Basha diving on the inside. Darby Van der Merwe trying to keep him out, so Charles Visser. And the two of them fending off the attentions there of the Stradale into Africa mining machine of Farin Basha. But here comes the Trinity Protection Services car as well. Late braking coming out of Hammond. Where is he going to try and make the brakes work there? He gets up the inside of Basha. Basha sees him coming. He just rolls out, and he gets a little tag there from JP Van der Walt. And Basha is sideways, left, right, center. Can he get it back on track? Yes, he can. How is that for brilliant driving? Farin Basha, absolutely amazing stuff to catch that car and bring it back onto the circuit. He comes onto the track just ahead of Tate Bishop and Cara Hill, and now Bishop's going to try and make him pay for it. There was a little bit of a tag there from JP Van der Walt. He probably won't be too happy about that. Here we go, on board with Farin Basha as they come up to the top of the hill. You can see he goes on the inside. Watch for the inside line coming out of Hammond. Where he found that line for, I don't know. He tries to come back at it, and then all of a sudden, there's the tag. He catches it left. He catches it right, and onto the grass. Fortunately, on the grass, he was able to get it under control and then brings it on just ahead of Tate Bishop and Cara Hill. Brilliant bit of driving there from Farin Basha. Speaking of brilliant driving, these two have had an absolutely amazing day together. Remember, this, of course, is the man who taught Leighton Fourie everything he knows. The man who leads things out at this point, but not for much longer, because it looks like Furie's going to try the same maneuver he pulled on Arnie Nevlin earlier on in the day, and he's going to make it stick for the second time. Nevlin going to try and come back at him, though. This time he forces Nevlin a little bit wider than he did the last time out. Going to make it even more difficult for Ari as he comes on the inside. Remember, Arnie Nevlin at one point in his career was fighting with two of F1's finest pilots at this point in time. Both Bottas and Magnussen. But incredible to see that if everything had gone according to plan, we may have even seen Arnie Nevlin behind the wheel of a Formula One. Right now, he's behind his teammate from the karting world and his arch rival from separate teams now, going into turn 1 and a change up for the lead. Arnie gets up the inside. Leighton Fourie going to have to try and find another way through now. This is brilliant stuff here, as always, in Polo Cup. Arnie Nevlin now under attack from Leighton Fourie. Fourie going to try and come back at him again. Can he do anything about the man out front? And watch out in the background. Clinton Mercedes, because of them fighting so hard, has bridged that gap very, very quickly and could potentially spoil the day for both of them. Wow, one more push to pass there, and I don't think Arnie's got anyone left. No, he's got no more left. You can see he just looks and goes, well, I got no answer to that. A little bit of additional power given by the push to pass mechanism in that car, and he drives around the outside of Arnie Nevlin to take the lead again. I don't know if anybody else out there at the front three cars have got any more push to pass. So now it's going to be defensive driving right to the line. Yuri Swart in 4th place, unfortunately not close enough to have any impact on these three as they head down the hill to the checkered flag. Nevlin is going to have to settle for 2nd place. I don't think he's going to be late enough to get onto the inside of Leighton Fourie to find a way through on the youngster. And he'll be pretty happy with the performance of his car. He's certainly happy with his first victory in Polo Cup and is already thinking about the next round in the home city of Volkswagen Motorsport, PE. That's where we head to next. But across the line, it's checkered flag time. Leighton Fourie with 2 wins on the day. He'll be happy with that, moving up into the lead of the championship ahead of Arnie Nevlin. Clinton Mercedes in 3rd place, beats out Yuri Swart. With Natim Samanga, another top 5 for him ahead of Jaden Else. Lonica Martins in 7th place, her best finish so far, ahead of Campos, Van der Merwe and Nathan Hammond. Let's catch up with Leighton Fourie.
that was a tougher race than race 1 with Ari. He had a lot more pace this race, so I had to push extra hard. We had a few problems with the throttle application, so I was struggling a little bit. But yeah, I managed the situation and used the same trick I used on him in race 1 with the push to pass. And yeah, we got around him. It was a few bunch and barges compared to race 1, but I'm happy with it.
And for the save of the day, that goes to Foreign Basher. Let's get his point of view as to what happened here in turn 5 and 6.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hectic race. We started a bit far back, but yeah, we got a few taps going into turn 5 and that pushed me down the order. And then just a couple of late dives by the other guys sent me wide going down the main straight. And yeah, it kind of put a bit of a stop to our race. It was a bit hard to recover after that and we couldn't make up much places. But yeah, overall it was a good weekend for us. We learned a lot from here and hopefully we'll be stronger for PE.
There's your top 3 overall for the day. Let's have a look at the championship points as they stand heading into PE. Leighton Free has taken the lead of the championship ahead of Arnie Neveling. Yuri Swart still stays ahead of Clinton Besaidenote with a bit of work to do for Jaden Else and JP van der Walt for the top 6.
We said it was going to be an epic drama-full day of racing, and that's exactly what we got out of 3 races here at Zwartkops and round 2 of the Volkswagen Polo Cup. The next round heads down to Aldo Scribanti, and look out for more of the same at the home of Volkswagen Motorsport. Leighton Free heads into that round with a championship lead and is certainly going to be fired up. Let's see what happens now with some more drama as we get into Volkswagen Polo Cup for 25th anniversary season. And all that action we brought to you here on Ignition, and come and join us on the live stream on the 29th of May.
All this Polo Cup action was proudly brought to you by Ferodo, #1 in brakes, Dunlop Tyres and Volkswagen Motorsport.